So, Better.com strikes again, and this time they are laying off a third round of employees in the last 5 months, and it's supposed to knock off about 1,000 people this time. It was about 3,000 last time, I believe. And now their overall number of employees has been reduced by over half. So I wonder if all this, well, I don't have to wonder. All of that work that was being done by 10,000 people are now being done by less than half of those people. All right. Maybe some things are just thrown away, or like, maybe there was some redundancies, like, oh, we actually don't need 2 people working on said project. But I can guarantee every person's workload just doubled. Well, everyone but the exec team, because let's face it, they don't do jack, or at least especially not the CEO, right? Or what they do is definitely going to be a lot of it's going to be thrown out in projects that people put a lot of time, sweat, probably even tears into. They just get wasted. Like, they're just thrown out because, like, oh, well, it's not critical, mission critical or whatever, and it's gets thrown out. So like, this is just insane. And I know, like, a lot of people say, well, like, the mortgage business right now is like not great because interest rates are high, so people are, they're not filing, they're not getting as many mortgages, which is like, a thing, obviously. Like, unless you have, like, even if you have a lot of money, it's like you're not really likely to take out a mortgage still, because you want to keep more of your money, though housing prices are lower. So some people feel like, well, a 5% interest rate on a house that's 20% cheaper is better than a 3% interest rate on a house that's 20% more expensive, right? So depending on how you look at it, people can still be people are still definitely buying houses, but just kind of depending on what you're really looking for. But generally, when interest price goes up, people don't get mortgages, or less likely to file or to go get one. So this is a huge bummer, obviously. And if I were Better.com's competitors or anyone looking for talent, hey man, like, you just had 1,000 people just get on the job market looking for you. The only bright side to some of this is that they'll get a minimum of 60 working days. Not bad. So that's about 12 weeks of severance. So, because when they say working days, I'm assuming they don't include weekends. So it's just Monday through Friday, and then you get as much as 80, which is not bad. Like, that's, so that's an extra 4 weeks on that. And then they also get health coverage until April 30th, which, that sucks. I don't know why they don't extend this ever. And, like, well, at least they're going to cover Cobra premiums until July 31st, which, if you never used it, Cobra is basically a way to keep your your corporate health insurance plan until at a slightly discounted rate. I mean, well, you're technically still paying the full premium, but, like, you get that option of, like, getting that plan if you really want it, instead of going out and shopping for your own. So you get to keep access to that plan. Otherwise, that plan is only available through the employer. So you still pay the premium, but looks like Better will cover the premiums until July 31st, which is not bad. But overall, this still sucks. Like, I think the best severance I've ever heard of was, I believe it was for back in 2008, 2009, when Procter & Gamble, when they laid off a ton of people at the time. And I think they had a policy of like, for every year you've been with Procter & Gamble, they give you at least a month worth of severance. So some people who've been there for a long time, they had like I think one guy had like 15 months of severance. Other people even had more, so it was pretty crazy. But also, it sucks, like, you basically spend 15 years of your life for a company, and they just kind of threw you out on the streets like you're nothing. So that's also the other thing. But this was brought on by, or at least announced by, Benson Armour, serving as the head of people role since the departure of Alex D'Amico. who left in November, who obviously left because, the CEO's a psychopath and he's a dick. So, but anyways, if any of you guys are out there looking or hiring or know of someone hiring, there is a list of people being compiled on Coda that will tell you, I guess, a bunch of stuff. Well, let's click on it and see what we get. So Better.com alumni-ness. So, oh man, this is really well made. Like, you got people recruiting, engineer, IT, sales, home advisors, finance. So if you click on this, oh man, you just get a list of people. So this is amazing. So underwriters, coordinators, engineering, IT, not as many people, but this clearly has a ton of information here. Looks like they don't have, well, I guess like you'll probably have to go on LinkedIn or something to look for some of these people, but this is great. Like, this is some great stuff in terms of how this is being created in order to get people, these people back in, looks like you can find LinkedIn's. Emails are being inserted here too, so that's great stuff. I think that's really good for, that something like that's being created for these folks, but still sucks. But at this point, like, I mean, I think like Better.com is like basically like trying to put out a fire with gasoline. Like they're just like, oh, just throw more on there. Oh my gosh, flames keep burning. Like, it's just going off the rails right now. But can you really be surprised at this point that they will just continually handling these layoffs terribly? Like, at this point, if they even lay off like 5 people, it's gonna be like in TechCrunch or on the news or something at that point. So, and the weird thing is that they're still hiring a lot of crap. Like, because at the end of the day, even though they're firing people, they're still gonna rehire at least a good portion of the people they fire and pay them less, because that's just how they do things. And I feel like that strategy is always so short-sighted, because it's like, okay, let's fire 1,000 people because they all make too much money or whatever, and then you say like, oh, these are not good performers. Okay, then revamp your hiring process, because clearly if you had to fire 1,000 people for being poor performers, like, what are you doing? Like, you're clearly not hiring the right people in a lot of ways, because like you just fired a good portion. It's one thing to fire, like if you have if you have 5,000 people in your company and you fire 50 to 100, and it's like, yeah, you get some hits and misses. But when you fire that many people, like 1,000 people, that's a lot of misses, and you got to start looking at how you actually hire people at this point. But I would doubt that these people were actually poor performers and not producing enough for the company, or at least not producing enough that to their liking. I'm pretty sure these are all competent, good people. At least most of them were. But at this point, like, they're gonna hire more competent people, but give them a lot less, because some people are just desperate at this point, and they're gonna give them the same amount of work, and they're gonna pay them less, and then just treat them poorly. And in the long run, I guess they'll save a little bit more money. But arguably, when you do this, people are just gonna leave you, and you're just gonna have a revolving door of positions that is just like, yeah, we don't pay them enough, so they're gonna leave, and we're always gonna get somebody here for whatever reason. I don't know, it just doesn't seem like a good idea. But anyways, this is gonna be a short one because there's not too much crazy controversy on this. But let me know what you guys think of this, of another shenanigans done by Better.com. And yeah, all right, guys. Take it easy. Have a good Wednesday, and I'll talk to you guys later.